Okay, buckle up, because this night took a turn I never saw coming. There I was, blindfolded and breathless, still buzzing from Liam's touch. The air in the room was thick with a comfortable warmth, my mind happily lost in the afterglow. But then, a shift. A whisper of air, a subtle movement nearby. A slow, chilling realization snaked its way into my thoughts. We weren't alone. Before I spill all the juicy details, do me a solid and tap that like button and subscribe. It's lightning fast, totally free, and makes a huge difference in bringing you more stories like this. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. Ready? Let's dive in. Suddenly, his hands were on me again, before I could even register the change. Firm, possessive, but different. A gasp escaped my lips as he pressed me against the cool kitchen counter, his breath hot against the sensitive curve of my neck. His grip tightened at my waist, fingers drawing slow, deliberate circles down my spine. My body, traitorously, responded instantly, arching into him, craving more. This wasn't like Liam, not lately. For years, our intimacy had become a predictable routine. But tonight was charged with a raw urgency in the way he kissed me, his mouth claiming mine like he couldn't get close enough. I barely managed a breath. "Is this how you plan to kick off our anniversary?" I managed to whisper. His lips curved into a wicked smirk. "It's just the beginning." A delicious heat coiled low in my belly. The flickering candlelight, the smooth jazz drifting from the speakers, the unopened bottle of celebratory wine. Everything I'd thought was romance now felt like a tantalizing setup. I swallowed hard as he reached behind me, pulling something from the drawer. The soft whisper of silk against his fingers sent a shiver dancing down my spine. A blindfold. My pulse hammered against my ribs. "Trust me," he murmured, his knuckles brushing gently against my jaw. I hesitated for a fraction of a second, and his grip tightened, just enough. "Do you trust me, Chloe?" My breath hitched, heat flooded my skin. Finally I nodded. His smirk deepened, a predatory gleam in his eyes, even though I couldn't see them. The silk slid over my eyes, plunging me into darkness. His fingers laced through mine, guiding me forward. I followed without question, my breath shallow, my skin humming with anticipation. Every step felt heavier, the cool wood of the floor a stark contrast against my bare feet as he led me toward the bedroom. The mattress dipped as I reached it, and his hands found my waist again, steadying me. "Are you sure about this, love?" he asked, his voice low, teasing but with an undercurrent of patient consideration. I swallowed, my pulse a frantic drum against my ears. Yes. The rustle of fabric filled the space between us as he slowly slid my dress from my shoulders, his fingertips gliding over my bare skin like a feather. Every movement was deliberate, unhurried, giving me ample time to say no if I wanted to. But I didn't. I wanted more. The feel of the silk blindfold heightened everything. The way his hands skimmed my hips, the way his breath warmed my collarbone before his lips followed. My fingers curled into the soft sheets as he guided me onto the bed, my heart racing with a mixture of fear and exhilaration as I felt the first slip of fabric around my wrist. He paused. "Tell me if you want me to stop." I exhaled a slow, shuddering breath before shaking my head. The soft press of the restraints tightened, not too much, just enough to feel his presence, his control. My choice. The bed dipped again, and then there was warmth. His lips, his tongue tracing slow, deliberate paths down my body, coaxing shivers from my skin. Every flick, every slow circle sent a new wave of heat surging through me. My breath hitched, my back arched, but he took his sweet time, building me up, keeping me teetering on the edge. He knew exactly what he was doing. The pressure shifted as his hands traced up my thighs before settling at my hips, a teasing pause long enough to make me ache with wanting. Then, finally, he filled me, slow and deep, his rhythm steady, deliberate. A moan slipped from my lips, my body instinctively moving with his. The tension coiled tighter with every thrust. He stayed close, whispering words I couldn't quite make out, drawing me further under, pushing me toward a peak I knew he'd been leading me toward all along. And when it finally hit, it unraveled me completely. I was still trembling, my body warm and weightless, the aftershocks rolling through me in slow, delicious waves. My wrists flexed slightly against the restraints, but I didn't want to move. I didn't want to break the spell. I was floating, breathless, my heartbeat still unsteady from everything he had just done to me. But then I felt it again, the subtle shift in the air. The space beside me was empty. I frowned, my lips parting, expecting his touch again. But it didn't come. Instead, I heard the soft creak of floorboards, the subtle rustling of fabric. He was moving away. My stomach dipped. Liam? My voice was still thick with lingering pleasure. Hey? He didn't answer right away. A pause, a hesitation. Then the bed dipped slightly as he leaned closer, his fingers brushing my jaw, his lips just a breath away from mine. I told you I had a surprise for you. My breath caught. I barely had time to process his words before I heard it. The unmistakable click of the door unlocking. The hinges groaned softly as it swung open. A sudden chill ran down my spine. Someone else was here. She looks even better than I imagined. Heat surged through me, my chest tightening, my breath coming in shallow, uneven gasps. I was still blindfolded, still tied, still breathless, and now we weren't alone. My breath came in short, uneven gasps, my senses heightened in the darkness. I could hear him, both of them. The warmth of Liam's touch still lingered on my skin, a grounding anchor, even as the presence of someone new sent a rush of heat through me. Was I nervous? Absolutely. But beneath that layer of apprehension, there was something else. Curiosity, a flicker of want, a strange anticipation. I swallowed hard as their voices drifted around me, low and teasing, filling the space between my own ragged breaths. She's shaking, the stranger murmured, his tone edged with amusement. I felt Liam move closer, his fingers brushing my thigh reassuringly. She's just taking it all in. His touch was a tether, a reminder that he was here, that this was safe, that this was my choice. She's beautiful like this, the other man added, his voice closer now. A shiver rolled through me. Then a touch, not Liam's. A new set of fingers glided over my arm. Slow, deliberate. I stiffened, my heart slamming against my ribs. Liam's hand was on me in an instant, his thumb tracing soothing circles against my hip. If this is too much, just say so, he murmured. I exhaled slowly and then I relaxed. The tension stretched between us, the air thick with anticipation. No one moved. It was as if they were waiting for me, for my signal, for my permission. A breath ghosted against my ear, deep and measured, then a whisper. Only if you want this, Chloe. My lips parted, my pulse raced, and then I made my choice. The first touch of his lips was tentative, testing, lingering before pressing more firmly against mine. I inhaled sharply, my body tensing for just a moment before melting into it, my senses already drowning in sensation. The heat of his mouth, the rougher contrast to Liam's familiar touch, sent a delicious shudder racing through me. Liam's hands squeezed mine, grounding me, his lips trailing over my shoulder, whispering against my skin, "You're perfect like this." Then a new sensation. A presence at my lips, firm and expectant. My pulse pounded. I hesitated for only a second before parting my lips, welcoming him, feeling the weight of the moment settle between us. His low groan sent a rush of warmth through me, and Liam's mouth found my throat, his teeth grazing just enough to make my breath hitch. The contrast between them, between the unfamiliar and the known, was intoxicating. I was lost in it. By the time he leaned back, my pulse was racing, my breath uneven. Then his hands guided me lower, his presence commanding, his hands settling on my hips, steadying me as the warmth of him pressed closer. My lips parted in a silent gasp. He was consuming me. Liam's hand tangled in my hair, his voice a low rasp in my ear. "Breathe," he reminded me, kissing the shell of my ear, trailing lower, slowly, steadily. The stranger moved, his touch deliberate, his rhythm patient but knowing. It built heat, unfurling in my stomach, tightening, coiling. His grip tightened as the pace quickened, Liam's lips moving in time with his, teasing, coaxing. I was unraveling. And just when I thought I couldn't take any more, they shifted me. The silk loosened from my wrists, but the blindfold remained, keeping me wrapped in the darkness, in sensation. Strong hands lifted me, steadying me as they guided me forward, adjusting me with care. I braced against him, my breath unsteady as my hands pressed against the firm plane of his chest. The sensation of his body beneath mine was different, new and untested, but the warmth of Liam's touch remained, grounding me. I moved cautiously at first, easing into the motion, letting my body find its rhythm. A slow build of movement sent a ripple of awareness through me, heightening every touch, every whisper between them. A low hum of approval rumbled from the stranger beneath me, his hands offering silent encouragement. Liam's fingers traced along my skin, feather-light, teasing. His mouth brushed my collarbone, whispering things only I could hear, things that sent shivers racing down my spine. The moment stretched, time bending around me, the intensity growing with each passing second. I could hear their voices, feel their focus, their presence keeping me balanced between them. I had never felt more alive. Just as I felt myself slipping over the edge, they moved me again. Familiar hands guided me backward, supporting me as I adjusted, settling into the comforting warmth of Liam's embrace. His presence wrapped around me like a familiar blanket, a tether pulling me close. His hands explored with unhurried reverence, his touch patient, savoring the moment, drawing it out like a lingering note in a song. I leaned into him, letting him lead our movements, sinking effortlessly. His breath fanned against my neck, his whispered praises sending waves of anticipation through me. I could feel the depth of his desire in the way he held me, the way his fingers traced slow, deliberate patterns over my skin. Everything was in perfect harmony. Until I felt another presence behind me. A familiar set of hands settled at my waist, gentle yet sure. A shiver ran through me, anticipation curling through my stomach as I felt the steady pressure of him aligning with me. Liam whispered against my ear, his voice steady, reassuring, his hands still caressing, teasing. A slow inhale, a pause, and then a new sensation. My breath hitched as the feeling took hold, the intensity washing over me in waves. It was unfamiliar but thrilling, new but deeply consuming. They worked together, keeping me balanced between them, their touch a steady rhythm guiding me through the moment. I clung to Liam's shoulders, my body pressed between them, surrendering to the sensation of being completely surrounded, completely wanted. Their hands never left me, teasing, guiding, pulling me further and further into the warmth of the moment, keeping me tethered to the pleasure that built with every breath. Everything blurred, time distorting into a single overwhelming sensation. The moment stretched, rising, holding me there at the very peak, until I could no longer hold on. And then it all unraveled, cascading through me in waves. A rush of sensation, a flood of warmth, a feeling so all-encompassing I could barely breathe through it. I clung to them, lost in the aftermath, in the heat of their bodies against mine, in the soft whispered praises against my skin. Again, for a long moment, none of us moved. Just breath, just warmth, just satisfaction. I still couldn't see, but I had never felt more aware of everything. I laid there, breathless, the weight of what just happened settling over me. He gave me the ultimate gift, but was it really for me, or was it for him? Would you ever do something this bold for your partner, or does the thought alone cross the line? Let me know in the comments. I'm dying to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another steamy tale. Your support means the world and helps keep these stories coming. See you in the next one.